The Ridgefield Community Center smelled faintly of varnish and nostalgia, and it hadn't changed in 15 years. Same scuffed wooden floors, same yellowed basketball banners, same social pecking order. Except now, it wore tailored suits and designer dresses instead of Letterman jackets. I straightened the collar of my navy dress shirt, feeling surprisingly steady as I stepped into my 15-year reunion. A Rooked Welcome Class of 2010 banner drooped above the sign-in table, where Melissa Brooks, once class valedictorian and now, according to LinkedIn, the owner of a booming interior design business, was checking names off a list. "Oh my God!" she shrieked, her voice edged with disbelief. Ethan Ross, you're actually here." I grinned, recalling the endless times she'd begged me to fix her malfunctioning graphing calculator. Wouldn't miss it. "So what are you up to these days?" she asked, but her eyes were already darting over my shoulder for someone more intriguing. "IT support," I said simply. As expected, her enthusiasm evaporated on the spot. "Oh, that's nice." She slapped a name tag on my chest. "Logan's, over by the bar. Remember Logan Pierce? He's running a hedge fund now. And Savannah just bought her second dental practice." "Cool," I replied, pocketing my hands. Pounding music vibrated the walls as I edged into the crowd. All around me, grown adults tried to outdo one another with their triumphs, every conversation a performance. Ross, holy crap. The shout belonged to Logan Pierce, former star forward and current Wall Street hotshot, swaggering over in an impeccable gray suit that probably cost more than my car. Still fixing people's Wi-Fi, man? Behind him, Savannah Carter, once my partner in AP chemistry, now apparently a successful dentist, gave me a polite, tight-lipped smile. "Something like that," I said, lifting my plastic cup. "Remember how you thought you'd build the next Google?" Logan guffawed, dragging others closer. "What was that nerd app you never shut up about? DataGuard or something?" "Aita, I corrected softly. "That's encryption stuff nobody cared about." Logan spread his arms theatrically. "Ross here thought he'd transform cybersecurity. Now he's probably telling people to reboot their modems." The group's laughter buzzed in my ears. I glanced at my phone. 8:57 p.m. 2 more minutes. Savannah leaned forward, voice dripping fake kindness. "My office's IT team is always short-staffed. Want me to refer you?" "Thanks, but I'm good." "Come on, man," Logan pressed. "What do you really do, Ethan?" Logan pressed, leaning closer, the scent of expensive cologne wafting off his suit. "Still in that shoebox apartment over your aunt's bakery? Still fiddling with that security software nobody cared about?" I took another measured sip of my drink. "Actually, I sold that so-called useless app 3 years ago." "Yeah? For what? Like $200? Logan roared, prompting fresh laughter from the circle gathered around us. My phone buzzed. A message blinked on screen from my PR director. "Forbes article goes live in 60 seconds. "You never did understand what data lock was," I said, my voice just loud enough for the people around us to hear. "But don't worry." I let a sly smile cross my face. "You'll find out soon enough." "What the hell's that supposed to mean?" Logan demanded. Right then, the DJ's speakers crackled with interference. Every smartphone in the gym seemed to vibrate at once. The synchronized alert I'd arranged was unfolding precisely on cue. Notifications popped up all over the room. Curious murmurs rose as people began reading aloud. "Forbes unmasks Silicon Valley's mystery billionaire." The DJ killed the music entirely, staring at his own screen. Silence swept through the gymnasium as dozens of phones displayed my corporate headshot next to a figure that made Logan's hedge fund bonuses look like lunch money. Datalock founder Ethan Ross revealed as tech's youngest billionaire, Melissa read out loud, her voice trembling, with a net worth of $8,200,000,000. 0 cents. I watched the faces around me transform, eyes wide, jaws dropping as understanding set in. That nerd app they'd mocked was now the encryption backbone for corporations worldwide. The guy they thought was just another IT grunt was secretly running an international cybersecurity empire. This, this has to be some kind of mistake, Logan stammered, fingers shaking as he refreshed his phone. No mistake, I said smoothly. Though I'm a bit surprised you missed it, seeing as you're such a plugged-in Wall Street whiz. Data lock's been hot news in Silicon Valley for years. Savannah blinked hard. Wait, the Ross protocol? That's you? Every dental office in the country uses that software, including yours, I confirmed. Check your patient portal, that encryption tool you rely on every day. I built it in that high school computer lab you all laughed about. Silence wrapped the room. All eyes were on me, or the Forbes headlines spreading across every phone screen. But you said you were in IT support, Melissa blurted out. I am, I said with a shrug, for my own company. Every CEO should know how their product works from the ground up, don't you think? Logan's face was the color of chalk. Listen, man, about what I said before. I lifted a hand. Save it. I'm not here for apologies. I'm here to make an announcement. I nodded toward the DJ who handed me the mic. The same people who'd been laughing at my IT job now stood frozen, hanging on every word. The Ethan Ross Foundation launches tomorrow, I said, my voice ringing through the hushed gym. A $500 million zero-cents initiative dedicated to funding technology education in underprivileged schools. I paused, letting my gaze sweep across the stunned faces. Because somewhere out there's another kid sitting in a computer lab being told their dreams are worthless. I'm going to make sure they have the resources I never did. I handed back the mic, relishing the stunned silence that followed. Now, if you'll excuse me, I added, sliding my phone into my pocket. I've got a board meeting in Singapore in 12 hours. My jet's waiting. As I turned to leave, I caught Logan's reflection in the glossy gym windows. The former basketball star who'd once shoved me into lockers now looked impossibly small in his $1,000 suit. Outside, the sleek black Tesla idling by the curb sparked whispers from my former classmates. James, my driver, and the first person I ever hired, now head of operations, stepped forward, opening the door with a knowing grin. How'd it go, Mr. Ross? He asked. Exactly as planned. I loosened my tie as I slid into the car, mind already drifting to the journey that led me here. Flashback, 3 years earlier. The glass towers of our Silicon Valley headquarters were worlds away from the dusty computer lab at Ridgefield High. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the bay below, sunlight glinting off distant tech campuses. Engineers clustered around whiteboards designing systems capable of protecting trillion-dollar transactions. James entered my office, dropping a pile of folders on my desk. The acquisition offers are getting serious, he said. Google's offering $2 billion, 0 cents. Meta's gone to $2.50. Microsoft's bumped theirs to $3 billion, 0 cents. I shook my head. We're not selling. Then that's life-changing money for you, for generations. I pulled up a fresh encryption model on my dual screens. This isn't about the money. DataLock isn't just another app. It's going to change how the world protects digital life. James sighed. The board wants a public face. Investors are demanding to know who's behind the Ross protocol. I thought about Logan's finance newsletter, dismissing DataLock as a niche product. About Savannah's clinic, unknowingly running on our tech. About every time people underestimated me. We'll go public, I said at last. But not yet. First, we build something so big they can't ignore it. The next 3 years blurred into relentless work, global deals, and technological breakthroughs. DataLock grew beyond cybersecurity into AI, quantum encryption, and digital infrastructure. We kept my name hidden behind layers of holding companies. The media began calling me tech's invisible billionaire. They called me the IT guy nobody would remember. But tonight, my name lit up Forbes and silenced the entire room. If stories like this inspire you, don't forget to subscribe for more real-life glow-ups and quiet revenge. Speculation was exploding online, but nobody would have guessed the quiet IT guy, who occasionally posted computer repair tips on LinkedIn, was hiding billions. I'd bought my aunt a beautiful new house, but kept my tiny apartment above her bakery as a decoy. I drove a sensible hybrid around Ridgefield, while a private garage quietly housed a growing collection of supercars. I'd mastered living two lives, Ethan Ross, modest tech support guy, and the hidden CEO behind the encryption system securing global finance and communications. Present day. Sir? Jane's voice pulled me out of my thoughts. Your sister's calling. I tapped the car's console. Hey Mia. Ethan, have you looked at Twitter? Your reunion's trending. Everyone's talking about your big reveal. Mia was the only one who'd known the truth all along. She'd helped me keep my cover, fully understanding why I wanted to build Datalock on my own terms. How's the foundation launch going? I asked. Perfect timing, thanks to the Forbes piece. We've already gotten partnership requests from half the tech giants in Silicon Valley. Oh, and Logan's hedge fund just sent over a proposal. I grinned. Declined that one, politely. James maneuvered the Tesla through security gates at a private airfield. My Gulfstream jet gleamed beneath the runway lights, steps lowered, waiting. Most CEOs would have gone public the moment money rolled in, but I'd learned patience in that old Ridgefield High computer lab. My phone buzzed like a hive of bees. Melissa Brooks wanted to catch up over coffee. Logan Pierce had fired off a LinkedIn request. Savannah's dental group was offering to partner on community initiatives. Local news stations were begging for interviews. James glanced at me. What should I do with all these messages? Forward the business ones to corporate development, I said. The personal ones? Let them wait. Inside the plane, sleek monitors displayed Datalock's global footprint, blazing server farms in Singapore, cryptography labs in Tel Aviv, cybersecurity teams stationed in London. Mia popped up on a video call. The foundation announcements blowing up. Schools are already applying for grants. Good. Start with Ridgefield High, I said. New computers, coding boot camps, full cybersecurity curriculum. I paused, picturing a kid sitting where I once sat, dreaming bigger than anyone thought possible. Call it investing in potential. The next few hours disappeared into board meetings and planning sessions. We weren't just transforming tech, we were rewriting what was possible for kids like me. A news alert blinked across my screen. Logan Pierce's hedge fund hit by major security breach. I allowed myself a small smile. Logan's firm had ignored our repeated warnings about their outdated security systems for months. Should we help them? James asked from his seat across the aisle. Send them our standard contract, I said. Regular rates, no special treatment. Another notification popped up on my screen. A message from Mr. Porter, my old computer science teacher. I always knew Datalock would change the world. So proud of you, Ethan. He'd been the only one who believed in my silly little app all those years ago. The foundation's first scholarship was already named in his honor. As our jet sliced through the skies above the Pacific, I skimmed the foundation's mission statement again. Empowering the next generation of tech innovators, because every big idea deserves its chance to change the world. The reunion had been more than a reveal. It was a declaration about opportunity, about seeing past people's circumstances, about how quiet determination beats loud dismissal. My phone buzzed again, Logan's third attempt to call. Let him wait, I thought. Some lessons take time to sink in. The Singapore skyline glittered through towering boardroom windows as I wrapped up our Asia-Pacific expansion meeting. In the 48 hours since the reunion, Datalock stock had surged 15%. The hashtag Ross Protocol was still trending worldwide. Mr. Ross, my assistant said, stepping in quietly, Ridgefield High's principal is on line 1, and Logan Pierce is at our Palo Alto office, for the third time today. I glanced at the clock. 3 a.m. in California? Logan's persistence was almost admirable. Put Principal Gonzalez through. I moved into my private office, memories of Ridgefield High swirling in my mind. Mr. Ross! Principal Gonzalez's voice was bubbling with gratitude. I can't thank you enough for the foundation's grant, but I have to ask, why start with us? I looked up at the framed printout hanging on my wall. the original data lock code, written late nights on a borrowed laptop in Ridgefield's dusty computer lab. Because everyone deserves a chance to prove their doubters wrong, I said. The lab upgrade starts next week. After hanging up, I flipped open my laptop to a live feed from our Palo Alto lobby. Logan was there, slumped in a designer suit that now looked decidedly rumpled, gripping a presentation folder like a lifeline. Should we keep him waiting? James asked, raising an eyebrow. No. Have him escorted to the video conference room, I told James. A few minutes later, Logan's face flickered onto my screen. The cocky grin he'd worn at the reunion was gone, replaced by the look of a man clinging to his last lifeline. Ethan, Mr. Ross, he stammered. Thanks for finally taking my call. It's 3 a.m. over there, Logan. Don't you sleep? Listen, about the reunion and, well, high school. I was young, dumb, I didn't know any better. You're here about the security breach, I cut in. Your hedge fund's clients are threatening to pull out because you ignored our recommendations. He let out a defeated breath. We can't afford your enterprise rates, but if you'd consider a partnership, or maybe an investment. You mean a bailout? Our firm has incredible potential, Ethan, just like Datalock had potential. I pulled up an archive of his old emails. Let's see. You called our initial pitch amateur hour and said our valuation was delusional. Color rose in Logan's cheeks. I didn't know, Ethan. That's the problem. You never looked past the surface. I closed his file. Our standard contract is in your inbox. Regular rates, no discounts. It's your choice. When the call ended, I leaned back and turned my attention to real business. The Foundation's first major initiative was rolling out a nationwide coding boot camp for underserved students. My phone vibrated with a message from Mia. You need to see this. Mia had sent me a link to Savannah's latest LinkedIn post, a veiled apology disguised as a corporate think piece about misjudging potential. It's going viral in legal circles, Mia added. All those law firms who brushed off Datalog's patents are scrambling now. I switched to a live news feed from Ridgefield High. Students gathered outside the old computer lab, buzzing about its upcoming renovation. In the crowd, I noticed a girl standing apart, wearing a faded hoodie and holding a battered laptop patched with duct tape. Find out her story, I messaged Mia. Make sure she gets whatever she needs. The day blurred with calls and strategy sessions. Datalock was preparing to launch quantum encryption tech that would dwarf our earlier breakthroughs. Around midnight Singapore time, an email arrived from Melissa Brooks. Ethan, I've spent 2 days writing this. My so-called interior design empire? It's 3 condos and mountains of debt. The success people see? It's smoke and mirrors. I don't deserve any favors, but could we meet? Not about business, just about how you stayed true to your vision, while we all pretended to be someone else. Melissa's honesty surprised me. I forwarded the email to Mia. Set up a foundation advisory role for her. Sometimes the best mentors are people who've learned hard lessons. The next week brought big changes. Logan's hedge fund signed our contract, humbled but safe. Ridgefield High's new tech lab opened to record crowds. The foundation announced partnerships with 500 schools nationwide. Yet the moment that stayed with me was a virtual mentoring call with students. Mariah, the girl from Ridgefield, introduced herself. People say this is impossible, she said, showing an AI algorithm she'd built on her old laptop. But Mr. Ross proved impossible just means they're not looking hard enough. I remembered being that kid, coding alone while others laughed at my impossible dreams. Success isn't about proving everyone else wrong, I told them. It's about proving yourself right. That night, I stood in my old apartment above the bakery. Inside were my original notebooks and rejection letters. I'd kept it all as a reminder, but now it would become the Ross Innovation Lab for future dreamers. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's making sure the next generation gets it right. If my story resonates with you, drop me a comment and tell me how you've chased your own impossible dreams. Your support fuels the mission. Remember, never let anyone else define your limits. Build quietly, believe deeply, and prove yourself right. That's how we change the world, one idea at a time.